Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, other genders without those specific endearments. These are your hosts, Gavin
and Ashton.
And
healthier now.
Yeah, and today, or tonight in our case, we'll be talking about some real interesting topics here on the ExtraCasual podcast. Now, let's start up with an article named James Webb Telescope keeps finding galaxies that should not exist, scientist warns. The James Webb Telescope keeps finding galaxies that shouldn't exist, a scientist has warned. Alright, so already a really good question. Why do you think scientists are so scared of these galaxies?
Okay, I have a question even before this one. How do, so the way telescopes work, right, is they're just electronically developed images, right? They're not actually you can physically see them?
I think basically in this circumstance.
So then what if the galaxy isn't real, it's just it shows up in the in the technology development of it?
I mean, I think it's definitely these galaxies are definitely real. It's just that they're so far away, and this telescope has a camera and zoom so powerful that can get that far, and obviously get them back to Earth. So like I said, I think these are very much real. But like I said, the question is, why do scientists don't think that these galaxies should not exist? Anyway, back to the article. 6 of the earliest and most massive galaxies that NASA's Breakthrough Telescope has seen so far has appeared to be bigger and more mature than they should be given where they are in the universe, researchers have warned. Okay, so it just said these galaxies are maybe a little big for where they are.
So they're saying that they're more complex?
Yeah.
Higher chance of being a threat of aliens?
Yeah. Well, aliens, meteors that aren't caught by Jupiter or whatever. The new findings build on previous research where scientists reported that despite coming from very beginnings of the universe, galaxies were as mature as our own Milky Way. I mean, I guess it makes sense, Some tells me our own Milky Way, or just our own galaxy in general, isn't going to be, the most mature in the, entirety of the universe.
Yeah, we aren't the center of the universe.
Nope. Unlike how we first thought all that time ago, back when I think Galileo figured out that theorized that we weren't the center of the universe, people laughed at him.
Look where we are now.
Yep. I mean, I guess as a little side note, it's a common thing for very modern ways of thinking that gets viciously mocked. I mean, there's a surgeon the 18th century, or
just the washing the hands one?
Yeah, washing that the surgeons should wash their hands between surgeries. He got locked up in a mental asylum. And look where we are now. It's basic protocol for doctors and any medical staff to wash their hands.
Well, just basically anyone in general to be clean.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, now back to the article. Now a new paper has appeared to confirm these findings by stress testing the galaxies to better understand how they formed. It suggests that if scientists have not made mistakes, we may be missing some fundamental information about the universe. I mean, the universe is always going to be expanding, so it makes sense.
That's the theory, at least.
Yeah. I mean, its theory is that the expansion of the universe is the fastest thing that could ever really be conceived, and it's expanding at a rate probably trillions upon trillions times faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
If the masses are right, then we are in uncharted territory, said Mike Bolin Colchin from the University of Texas at Austin. The author of...
Hold on.
What about it?
See that typo right there?
Oh, there's a period, right? By university, or between university and of.
Watch, that's the actual name of the university.
That'd be funny.
University.of Texas.
That'd be something, that's for sure.
.onlyfans?
Although I will say that this article is severely dropped in notoriety or credibility, I should say, with that little spelling error. But I guess we shall continue.
Demoted.
And the author of the new paper examined the initial galaxies. Will require something very new about galaxy information or a modification to cosmology, which is the study of space. For probably a lot of people that are wondering what is. One of the most extreme possibilities is that the universe is expanding faster shortly after the Big Bang than we predicted, which might require new forces in particles. Like, new particles. What exactly could be new or found new in the universe?
New materials?
Mm-hmm. Because it's theories that it's like mostly hydrogen just floating around out there.
I don't really know much about space though, so
yeah,
I'm not really an expert on this.
I don't think anyone really is, unless you literally have a master's or a PhD in it. Let's see, Professor, I'm just gonna call him BK, paper stressed the ACDM and higher redshift galaxies candidates have been published in Nature Astronomy this week. Sounds like a nerd magazine or something. It suggests that information from the JWST purposes a profound dilemma for scientists. The data indicates that there might be another spelling error, two T's when there should be a space.
I'm just going to criticize every single article that we read now.
Sure. Some hidden should be something.
We should shame all them and put them somewhere so we can permanently shame them for the rest of the time.
Yeah. Wrong with the dark energy and cold dark matter paradigm, or ACM or ACDM, and the A isn't like a normal A, it's an A without the middle part that has been guiding cosmology for decades. Usually galaxies convert around 10% of their gas into stars, but newly discovered...
They got cheap gas.
Yeah, space gas, just running star power.
Oh, that's what Kirby pays for, that 10-cent space gas.
Yeah, so it gets new lives. But the newly discovered galaxies would have to be converting almost the entirety of it into stars. So there's just galaxies floating around just filled with stars. I mean, I guess it makes sense. But like even in our solar system, there's more trees on Earth than there are stars in our solar system.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And like if you see pictures, or if you even look up the night sky, you see all these little stars close together, but they're really like millions upon like billions even miles away, and they're usually pretty far apart, and the only reason why they look so condensed down is because of how far away they are and how brightly they shine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is theoretically possible, but the departure from what scientists would ever have expected. Further observation of the galaxies should better clarify their ages and masses. It might show that the observations are incorrect. The supermassive black holes are at the center are heating up the galaxies, so they look more massive than they are, or they are actually from a later time than expected, but look older because of imaging problems. I suppose that makes sense. There are, there's still limits of human technology.
Isn't that like a theory though? That we might see the sun now or something like that, or like we might see the Milky Way, but actually the Milky Way like got destroyed millions of years ago. Just we haven't physically seen it yet in like technology rendering.
I mean, I suppose it could be like that. I mean, it's like the idea of like how far away would the like Milky Way be, like in terms of everything? Because like like the whole like the old argument of like if the sun were to burn out, it'd take 8 minutes for the light side of the Earth at the time to know. would it take like a set amount of time for like the Milky Way to collapse and until our like solar system is just screwed along with everything in it.
I guess. I mean, that would be technically true, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. I mean, it really just kind of depends on how fast things can be created and collapse at the same time.
This is too much big brain space talk for me.
I've always enjoyed space things because
it's cool though.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that there could be some place just like Earth out there, just floating around, maybe with their own set of life. Maybe just waiting to see, what else is out there, just like us. Maybe they're friendly, maybe they're not. Well, we won't really know till, time comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, last bit of the article. But if confirmed, then astronomers may have to change their understandings of the cosmos and how galaxies grow to adjust their model to account for unusually large and mature galaxies.
That's it?
Yep,
that's it. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, what other planets do you think are out there? Do you think?
There's definitely like a planet full of just cows. Do you know all those aliens that would steal the cows in the movies? Every single time that it's been in a movie, it's been real.
So that's where all those cows have been going.
They've been on their own utopia.
Wait
a minute. The Milky Way.
Moo.
The moon.
Maybe that's why it's called the Milky Way, because we have like so many mammals here on Earth. I mean, look at humans. We're mammals, and there's like 8 billion of us, and that's not even counting all the other mammals that exist. And mammals produce milk.
Wait, can you let me do a live on-air search?
Yeah, sure.
I gotta look up why it's called the Milky Way. Okay, this leads us to another article. Our galaxy is called the Milky Way because it appears as a milky band of light in the sky when you see it in a really dark area.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hold on. The Greek word for galaxy also derives from the word for milk.
Interesting. Well, the word for milk. I think you might have actually added a comma.
The word for milk.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been interested in just stargazing. Just looking up at the night sky, just seeing what I could find. I remember at the Labor Day party that me and you went to, I was just laying up and looking at the stars, and I managed to see a few constellations. I saw the Big Dipper and Orion's Belt. I thought that was cool.
I used to think that the Orion's Belt was just satellites in the sky until somebody pointed out to me that no, those 3 stars that look like a belt are Orion's Belt, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Orion's Belt is it's not just there's just those 3. It's it's supposed to signify a Spartan guy.
Yeah. When I was younger, I always wanted to get a super expensive camera to take pictures of the night.
Yeah.
But the only problem with where we live, it's not the worst that it can be, but light pollution is just everywhere now. There's not really any free space besides deserts.
Yeah, Death Valley.
Yeah.
Or the Badlands or whatever they're called.
Where it's super derived of any human light.
Uh-huh. And you just see the sky, and it's probably one of the most magnificent sights anyone could ever see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's enough for space talk, unless you can think of anything else.
Ooh. What would be your ideal planet? What would be your what would be your dream planet?
Yeah, dream planet.
What would you have inhabited on it? What would make it unique from Earth?
Okay, so
basically picking your own city, but in planet form.
Okay, so I think it'd be very similar to Earth in basically all aspects, but Uh, I think like a lot of the like natural resources like iron and stuff like that would be a lot more plentiful, and there'd be like maybe it's even its new own like element or metal, which is like just something super cool. Or
What about like chlorophyte from Terraria?
that'd be fun.
Regenerative metal would be super cool.
Yeah, put it in mud.
We'd never run out of it. We'd never have to worry about it.
And because of that, because it's a fake metal, like it could be theoretically as strong as it wants to be.
You just gotta encourage it to be stronger.
Yeah, also look at like Luminite from Terraria. It's literally a lunar-based ore, and it has the power to harness like parts of like stars and like vortexes and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, great. Are we gonna start talking about Terraria? You can have the rest.
Okay, thank you.
Are we gonna start talking about Terraria now?
We could. Or, we can always just talk about other like spacefaring like media, like Star Wars or just something like that.
We could.
I actually recently watched the original Star Wars trilogy again. Or, yeah. Well, I say again, but I think it was like literally my first time watching like at least half of those movies. It's probably a sin for me to say that, but yeah. And the more I watched those movies, the more I started to hate the sequel trilogy, because Episode 4 and Episode 7 were the exact same. Like, think of it. There's a droid carrying sensitive information.
Hold on. So this is the after Darth Vader is Darth Vader, right?
Yeah, Episode 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. There's a droid carrying sensitive information. There's a person that doesn't know that they're Force sensitive, that just like learns about the Force randomly by pure coincidence. Mm-hmm. They both get come in contact with the same lightsaber, and they both destroy some massive space weapon that could cause mass destruction. And I remember I watched a thing about Mark Hamill, the guy that played Luke Skywalker, talked about it, and he said, like, just because it's a woman this time, it's supposed to be unique. Like, no, that's not how that works. And like I said, the more I watched the original trilogy, the more I really start to not like the sequels, because
you talking about like the Force Awakens and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Force Awakens was nice.
Yeah.
And then the middle one sucked, and then the final one was hype.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people will say that it kind of fell flat. Like, although I will say that one scene with Palpatine, where he just shocked all those ships out of the sky, that was a dope scene.
That reminds me, there was a game, I think it's called like Star Wars Unleashed or something like that, for the Wii. The guy that has the lightsaber and you're like a bad guy and he can like shoot lightning out of his hands. It reminded me of that. Like, I think there's a scene in there where he does almost the same thing.
That's cool. Yeah. And Kylo Ren was basically dollar store Darth Vader, as I started thinking about it.
Yeah, and you somehow related to Darth Vader, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's Han and Leia's son, so Darth Vader would be the paternal, grandfather.
Yeah, isn't like that a whole another point in the movie too? Is like they're like a mix of like good and evil, because Leia's like the good side, and that, or the what is it called, the light side?
Yeah, the light side and the dark side.
Yeah, and then the other one is like the dark side, and then like they're born, like the one baby's born as light and dark.
I don't know. I think Ben Solo was an only child, but he was Force sensitive, so that's why Luke Skywalker like attempted to train him. And it was like this in the comics too, where I think Ben Solo was an entity of some sort.
Whenever you say comics, it just reminds me of, I think his name was Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones?
The assassin droid.
Oh yeah, you
Like
told me
one of
about
the
him.
deadliest assassin droids.
Yeah, dude. Like the Star Wars comics are insane. Like they're allowed to get basically as wild as they want, and like Luke Skywalker was able to control a black hole using only the Force.
They just have to tie it into the lore at the end of the day.
Like I think it's basically canon that like aside from like maybe full potential Anakin, Luke Skywalker is the most powerful Jedi in terms of Force powers.
Hmm.
Like he could probably beat any single Force like Sith wielder or like any other Jedi or any.
He's just the overall best.
Yeah, and you know he was the OG, so
Yeah. You gotta give the OG the best.
mhm.
Can't just introduce a new character and then make them the best.
But like, I mean that's what they kind of tried to do with Rey, really,
Yeah.
which is why a lot of people really didn't like her because she like basically she usurped the Skywalker name by the end of it.
Well, yeah. And then they made Luke look really bad in that trilogy.
Like, and I just remember watching another thing where he said, you know, like, you know, he played the character, but it didn't feel like it was his character that, you know, he played all that time ago. You know, it was just some kid full of hope. You know, it was just some old dude that cut himself off from the Force and, you know, was very pessimistic and about everything.
He disrespected his, like, ancient weapon by just throwing... Didn't he literally throw it into the water in one of the movies?
Yeah. And
Like, she gives it to... Oh, yeah, at the end of Force Awakens, doesn't she give him the lightsaber?
And the other gang of Last Jedi, he throws it away.
He literally just throws it into the water. It's like, I don't need
He
it.
even comments about the writing where when he gets contacted by Yoda's Force Ghost and he was going to destroy the like Jedi texts, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then he talked with Yoda. He struck it with like lightning using the Force. And Luke started freaking out. He's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he was just about to say, I'm going to destroy these. And no, nothing that I was going to destroy anyway.
Just
like-
imagine how different Star Wars would be if it was all just a drug trip.
Who knows? Like,
This little green guy that talks broken English.
yeah. Like, alright. Well, I guess that's enough about the story of Star Wars. But how about, like, just the environments? Like, do you think that, like, just people like us, you know, could, you know, in theoretically one day, like, have access to that technology or have access to those worlds or some whatever?
In a way, it's like dystopian and at the same time futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it advanced so much that like translator droids, like something that could be possible today, but like can walk on its own and like talk on its own and have its own mind. It's like that can be easily discarded in that dystopian.
Yeah.
So it shows how like far ahead in the future they are.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, there's also, you know, the ships, you know, the
like,
weapons.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, space magic.
Well, they have the blasters. Like, the lore behind the Stormtroopers' blasters is, it's like a cartridge. And, like, it doesn't make sense like any other gun. Like, there are guns in Star Wars lore.
Yeah, like proper, like, lead rounds or just metal
I'm pretty
rounds.
sure they're called, like, heat something, because I think there was an assassin that was able to kill a Jedi with them, because usually when Jedis fight against, like, plasma guns, you know, they just reflect it with their lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you shoot a gun at a lightsaber, it just melts the metal and then it hits the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't block it naturally.
Yeah. Which will, like, either, you know, stun them enough to the point where, you know, they drop their weapon and have to drop their guard, which makes them prime targets.
Yeah, but then that's also, like, the blasters are more easier to move around and everything because you can have, like, thousands of shots in, like, one cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a gun, you gotta carry around ammo and, like, clips. Sorry, mags.
Yeah, man, you can't get that messed up, man.
These are mags. What an amazing clip.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about another space game. Risk of Rain. Because that technically takes place on a separate planet from Earth.
I guess.
Like, and like the whole point is that everything on that planet wants to kill you. Do you really think that there could be a planet like that where, like, just as soon as you step on that, like every single force on that planet is just hell bent on getting you dead real quick.
Well, we could get like real. We're gonna get real big brain about this. I'm gonna get real big brain about this. You could technically say this is like a virus entering your body.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling it would be just like how viruses deal with your, like, when a virus comes into your body, I have a feeling it would be just like that, but just on like a planetary level. You know, you're not recognized, you look different,
You're a foreign entity.
you literally just came from the sky, and there might be in like the Stone Ages.
Yeah, you might have highly advanced weapons, or maybe it's just like every single creature's base instinct to maybe coexist in peace, but as soon as...
then you're the problem that doesn't cause peace.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like the big thing. Like, I don't think you're the good guy in like any of the Risk of Rain 2's, Risk of Rain or Risk of Rain 2, but I don't think you're the bad guy either. I think you're just trying to survive.
Yeah. In the lore, though, doesn't it say like you're the one invading, you're the one destroying everything?
I mean, I guess, but actually, I don't know. I haven't read a lot of the lore.
Well, yeah, because because the prophet, didn't the prophet make everything?
Oh yeah,
So
Balrog, what's it called, the Balrog? No,
well, then there's a prophet, and then there's Mithrix.
yeah, the king and the something else.
The king has more of thoughts, and that, or isn't the king has the power of thoughts, and then the other one has the power of creation. So it's like one can think and one can be able to create, so they have to work together to be able to make things.
Oh, I just remembered. It's the Bulwark and the king. I remember Mithrix, the king, like, he had the ability to create bodies, or like of vessels, but
that's what it was.
Bulwark had the ability to create souls, and eventually, like, there's a major divide between those two, and Mithrix got banished to the moon of Petrichor 5, and the Bulwark kind of just stayed in his area, until he was eventually slain.
Yeah, do you know what we should do before we continue talking about this?
What?
Probably explain what Risk of Rain is.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So basically, Risk of Rain is a roguelike game where, you jump in, you kill enemies, try not to die, get some items, and then you try to move on to the next stage by activating teleporters. Mithrix and Providence are the final bosses of Risk of Rain 1 for Providence and Risk of Rain 2 for Mithrix, respectively. And like, there's a lot of lore that goes into it. There's like every item, every character, every enemy has its lore, and even every location too.
Mm-hmm. But back to the Mithrix and creating and all that.
Yeah. I guess it really just depends, like, if there really are like forces that powerful, like with like godlike abilities, even though they're still very much mortal.
Or just imagine like a planet that has those abilities and just we can't comprehend it.
That's true.
Like, maybe it's just normal for them to be like, hey, I'm just gonna create a volcano.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, humans, they fear what they don't understand, and I'm pretty sure, we'd fear something like that because we won't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's enough space talk, because we went on a pretty wild tangent.
Floating on to our next topic in the galaxy of the internet.
Yeah.
Also known as Bing. We have, this one's my topic. This one caught Gavin and I's eyes like very, very fast, because we haven't heard about this this franchise in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been out of the media for, I'd say, almost 10 years now, wouldn't you say?
So, well, actually, until the movies started coming out.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Movies.
But the title of it is Sega Gobbles Up Angry Birds in Gaming Industry's Most Bizarre Acquisition Yet.
What was the last Angry Birds game you've played?
funny enough, I still have an Angry Birds Star Wars 2 disc on for like CD-ROM for my computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say that's probably the last one I've played too. Angry Birds Star Wars 2.
What was your favorite Angry Birds game?
Probably Star Wars 2.
Well, this one isn't really Angry Birds, but it's Angry Birds like franchise group, like Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Piggies.
Bad Piggies, oh yeah. Where you get to make those little vehicles.
So I'm assuming what this article means by reading the title is they don't own the company yet, but they're trying to get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
AKA Acquisition. So I'm hoping that once they do release, I haven't read the article yet, we're gonna read it soon, but I hope that if they do like release a remake, they put their heart into like truly remastering, or like, they remaster the games, but then they also let you play the original games to like their most original version.
That'd be cool.
But let's get into the article. Japanese gaming publisher Sega announced on Monday that it will buy the company behind the smartphone one-hit wonder Angry Birds for $775 million. It's the latest major gaming acquisition and one of the weirdest ones yet.
I think it was like biggest quote this Monday because of we're recording this on Friday night opposed to almost Saturday night.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Early Saturday morning. Early Saturday morning. But back to the article. We got an initial tease of the deal in a report by the Wall Street Journal on April 15th that suggested Sega might purchase Rovio.
That sounds about right.
Rovio for as much as $1 billion. Discussions over the weekend apparently knocked the number down a couple hundred million, and now the two companies have announced the official agreement, calling it a friendly takeover.
That's a oxymoron if I ever heard it. Yeah. Friendly takeover.
That is a weird way to put it, but Sega agrees that the deal will help it bring its existing franchises to mobile and help Rovio bring its games to other platforms. Both companies have also experimented with transmedia spin-offs, most notably Hollywood, where Sonic and Angry Birds both led to profitable film adaptations among the rapidly growing global gaming market. Oh my god, those are a lot of big words.
There's a lot of G's.
Global gaming market. Growing global gaming market. The mobile gaming market especially has high potential, and it has been Sega's long-term goal to accelerate its expansions in this field. Haruki Satomi, president and group CEO of Sega's parent company, said in a press release. The deal follows a string of major acquisitions announcements as video game industry consolidates, and specifically ones aimed at helping companies get a bigger part of massive mobile gaming market. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard, $69 billion, which makes Call of Duty Mobile and Candy Crush Take-Two bought by, I don't even want to say the word, Zynga?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Zynga for $12.7 billion, which makes Poker and Words with Friends, and the Saudi Arabia-backed Savvy Entertainment Group recently announced it's buying Scopely for $4.9 billion, company behind WWE Champions and Star Trek Fleet Command. Okay, the rest just talks about gaming, mobile games, the rest that I can see.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know what to comment about it. I guess just Sega's just trying to expand its market. Which good for them, I guess, but
yeah. I don't know. Do you think in the future like computers will become obsolete?
Are you saying that you think that like in theory phones could become as powerful as like computers?
Yeah, like one day you just like a computer would be so like not needed that one day you just like come home and like plug your phone into a monitor, and then you can just play games off of your phone, like computer games off your phone.
I mean, it's possible, but there's gonna be need to be some real big technical strides before that can happen. Like
Yeah.
a way to control heat, for one.
Yeah, that would become a bomb very fast.
Uh huh.
Hey,
Fast and
bomb.
very fast.
Angry Birds. Making correlations here.
Yeah, and two, I guess, like obviously processing power and like graphics power and RAM and stuff like that. Like they're like the basic stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, phones now are actually like they have gaming designed phones now.
Hmm.
Like they have like third party phone companies that are like have triggers on them, like controllers
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
make like special phone controllers.
Yeah. This one is kind of a fast topic.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about them. It was just kind of cut and dry, easy and done.
It's kind of interesting though.
It wasn't really as thought provoking as our last one.
Well,
I mean, it's because space compared to Angry Birds, such a very broad topic.
Angry Bird Space.
That's true.
We could mention anything right now and bring it back to Angry Birds. Just pick like a random topic and I'll bring it to Angry Birds right now.
The Cold War.
No, you gotta pick no. Let's try to get Cold War into this.
All right.
The battle between the King Pig and Red. There we go. Cold War. They used to be friends. Wait, was Cold War?
It's between the United States and the Soviet Union due to different ideologies.
Oh, I guess it would still be a battle between the pigs and the Angry Birds.
Sure, I guess.
But then Angry Birds had such a wide variety though like they had recently they had like the pop game. Oh, not recently, probably like 2016. I'm just thinking like young brained.
Yeah.
But they had like the Connect 3 game, like Connect 4 games. They had Angry Birds Epic, which is a really good RPG.
Yeah, it was actually really fun, funnily enough.
I got stuck at one point though and I just couldn't progress.
Dude, I almost 3-starred every single level.
That game was cool though, because like you could spin the wheels and like each Angry Bird actually made sense with their abilities. Like the yellow one could always attack faster, and like the bomb would actually explode and deal like AoE.
Uh-huh.
The egg one would heal.
Yeah, and then the blue ones were the kind of tricky ones.
Yeah, they would like divide the power.
Yeah. Meanwhile, red was your kind of your box standard warrior.
The basic bitch.
Let's see. Then there's Angry Birds Go, the racing game.
Oh my god, I love that game.
I had some fun with it.
And then there was Angry Birds Transformers. We can't forget about that.
Yep.
That gem.
Mm-hmm.
I never really played through that one fully, but if you've never played Angry Birds Transformers, it's a lot different from the original Angry Birds. It's not just like shoot the bird at the tower.
Yeah, it's like a side scroller where you had to like shoot like pigs and incoming projectiles, so you literally won't die.
So the bird would just basically, or not bird, the Transformer bird would run on like a complete like running state the whole entire time, like you're not controlling it, and then you gotta like shoot pigs in the background that are like on towers. And then to tie in with Transformers, they also transform into like cars and drive faster to avoid like enemy attacks and like obstacles falling on them.
Man, Angry Birds really flew into like some big markets. Like you got Transformers and Angry Birds.
Star Wars and Angry Birds.
Yeah.
What else did they have?
I think we just realized
Rio.
Yeah, Rio. I also just realized we said Angry Birds for the big ones. Anyway, do you think that's all for this one? Or?
I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's get to yours now. This one, I don't know how we're gonna do this one, but we're gonna figure it out on air.
Yeah. Didn't we discuss this earlier this week of how we're gonna do it?
I think so.
Okay, so for a little bit of background, this is another an article called "The Story Behind Every Avenged Sevenfold Album Cover Art." Now, Avenged Sevenfold is my favorite band of all time. I remember I started listening to them back in like 7th to 8th grade. I remember I discovered them through Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. I started listening to like Shepherd of Fire and a few other songs, and it just kept on expanding and expanding, and yeah, it was really nice.
So, by the looks of this, how many albums have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, it says right there, from
Wait
the striking to the bizarre. Here are the the stories behind all 8 Avenged Sevenfold album covers. Yeah, I'm literally wearing an Avenged Sevenfold shirt right now.
You guys can't see it, but I've just been pointing at the album cover and pointing at Gavin's shirt.
Yeah, they're self-named, or the White Album, as some people call it, which is I think is a kind of a parallel to the Metallica's Black Album, which is also their self-name. Okay, let's see. Avenged Sevenfold have one of the most recognized logos in modern-day heavy metal, the Death Bat. The icon's appearance in countless T-shirts since the band formed in 1999. Wow, they're over 24 years old at this point, roughly. This is probably both of us. Not combined, though. But it's also just the beginning when it comes to their visual story. Now responsible for 8 albums and 1 live B/B-sides compilation, the Huntington Beach Hellraisers have worked with some of their genre's most gifted and renowned artists to celebrate this aesthetic journey in the impending release of Life is But a Dream, which I'm very excited for.
Is that their newest one that they're coming out with?
Yeah. Here are the tales behind why every Avenged Sevenfold Avenged release looks the way it does. Okay, so we're going to play kind of a little game.
Okay, so first we gotta describe what the cover looks like to the audience.
And then we're gonna try to kind of figure out like what the meaning is behind it, or like why it was designed like it was. Okay, so this is their first album, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. I guess as a quick rundown, if you really like the screamo style, then you're probably gonna like it. I don't really, so I didn't really like this one. And it's it's mostly purple. Like the main colors are definitely like purple and like white.
Yeah.
And a angel carrying 2 kids, what looks like, and then there's the iconic logo. Okay, so what do you think this represents?
We should also say the name of it too.
Yeah, I did say Sounding the Seventh Trumpet.
Oh, I'm just dumb. This one's kind of hard. The way you're looking at it doesn't really like. The album cover doesn't really describe. Well, I guess there's a couple things happening, but it doesn't really like. Doesn't seem in depth.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely a meaning behind it. Just I can't really grab it. Like that one kid on the right of the album cover, like compared to the other, looks like a girl. She's like hugging the one angel in the middle that's holding both of them, but then the one on the right is like a kid that's like reaching out, and there's like a power.
Yeah, I never actually really noticed that. Oh yeah, and also I guess as a little extra detail, there's also 4 roses on each, a rose on each corner, so 4 total. What I think it might represent is kind of like the duality of I guess people, like, and the duality of man versus woman. You know, I guess women have always
caring versus protecting, I guess.
Yeah, like, you know, guys are seen as, you know, a little bit more aggressive, while, you know, women are seen as a bit more caring.
I might have a perfect way to symbolize this.
What?
So, the woman's in the middle holding them, right? Like holding them together. So, it could mean that one side of women is like caring and nurturing, and then the other side is protecting and fighting. So it could mean like, at the end of the day, both of them can do both of them.
Yeah.
Like one can protect and fight, and it could be the other way around too for both of the genders or the people.
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, now let's go see what it says. Okay, Avenged Sevenfold name was taken from the story of Cain and Abel, so the band decided to double down on biblical references for their debut album, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, to alludes to chapter 11 of the Book of Revelation. Oh yeah, I forgot that they're somewhat biblical based, which predicts that 7 angels blowing trumpets will be the harbinger of the end of the world. The aptly heaven-looking artwork Avenged tapped Santa Cruz-based tattoo artist Adam Barton in the history with the band. Even in the early days, he previously inked In Shadows. Congrats on the repeat gig, Adam. So it's based off of the Bible. So I guess it makes
So I'm
sense.
assuming the kid with the power in his hand is Cain.
Well, I forget who
Abel.
killed. I forget who. I don't really know who kills who in the end.
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna move to the next one.
Waking the Fallen, and it's probably their most iconic album to date. It's just their logo, like that's just in black with the skull, like most parts of the skull in yellow, or not yellow, white.
I think I've seen this one before.
I mean, I have another shirt which is just like it.
Yeah. It's just the iconic, like, what was it, like what do they call it? The bats?
Death Bat.
Death bat. It's basically, the death bat's just basically bat wings with a skeleton skull in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says Avenged Sevenfold on the top, and it's the death bat, and then it says the album, which is Waking the Fallen. Yeah.
Okay.
This one, I don't really know how to describe this one. It's just a picture of it.
I mean, I think it might have to represent, like, I guess kind of the grunge, like the more grungy tone of the band, where it kind of started falling away from like the bass screamo that it did into a bit more like melodic and rhythmic stuff. Like there's still a lot of like screaming, but not nearly as much as there was in Sounding the Seventh.
I think I just may have came to realization.
What?
So the reason that they're making this album like this, like there's no theme to it, is it's like, I think in this album, what I'm assuming, like this is, we're all guessing here, at least I'm guessing here, Gavin knows way more about this than I do. I think it's that they're trying to create their own genre or their own way of like trying to stand out there than just being another rock band.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. You have to do something different compared to everyone else. Okay, let's see what it says. Okay, the Deathbat logo emblemized on Avenged Sevenfold's breakthrough album, Waking the Fallen, was originally designed by a high school friend called Mika Montague. We realized in the early that we need a logo, and Michelle was told Revolver in 2010. Our friend Mike got our friend Mike to draw. We gave him $20 and he drew the Death Bet, and it's never changed since. Although all versions of Waking the Fallen use that symbol as the cover nowadays. So initially, there's a slipcase for the CD. The album's booklet had darkly majestic painting by Taylor Montague on the front of it. Okay, so I think
it's just a high school.
Yeah, a high school friend made it. So I think we kind of got a little mixed up. Like, this is like the story, like, actually behind it. We're trying to figure out the meaning behind it, which I guess we could probably still do, realistically.
Okay, on to the third album.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Okay, City of Evil. This is, I think, this is the album I started, like, really, like, everything before City of Evil I didn't really like, but it was really at this album when, you know, and everything past was like, yeah, this stuff is good. And it's a skeleton with like some sort of like sword riding on a golden horse away from a city that's on fire, which is probably Babylon.
It looks like he is causing the fire though, because there's like fire.
Yeah, trailing.
See the fire trail in the background.
Mm-hmm. There's also a nice little skeleton hand, like made out of fire on him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
He also has wings too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the skull and bat wings are, you know,
That
pretty
is
iconic.
True. Huh.
Yeah. So I think, like I said, it's supposed to symbolize the destruction of the city of Babylon.
I'll go with that. Let's see what this one is.
Okay. Everything about Avenged got bigger and better for City of Evil. At 72 minutes is by far the band's longest album and their major label debut, getting released through Warner Bros. And it had a much larger audience by ditching metalcore in favor of Guns N' Roses and Metallica-inspired heaviness. Graphic designer Casey Howard's artwork perfectly symbolized the band's new grandeur and ambitions. It turned the deathbed design and depicted of a winged demon riding a horse, leaving nothing but fire and charred landscapes in its wake.
So I guess we basically described basically described it, but it doesn't really just say the city.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Onto their
Definitely say that.
fourth album.
Okay, this is their self-titled album in 2007, or as other people call it, the White Album. And I think it's kind of like the antithesis of Awakening the Fallen, where it's kind of like, instead of like that grunge that they had, or like the grit is like...
We should describe the cover so then they
I guess.
understand first.
Yeah, it's basically the Waking of the Fallen one, but the colors inversed, and there's no Avenged Sevenfold on top, and no album cover on the bottom.
So it's basically, instead of the black one with the skull and the wings, it's instead a white background with a black skull and wings. The skull also looks a lot tinier, unless I'm just...
Yeah, they might have like just downsized it.
Yeah. This one, you can't really get much from this cover.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said it's probably like the antithesis to Waking the Fallen, because that's when they really start to, like, even beyond City of Evil, get into their, like, what is now seen as their style.
Well, this also probably gives it away because the album is literally called Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah. Okay, let's go see what it says.
So I'm assuming it's what you just said.
Yeah. Although Avenged Sevenfold took big risks with its symphonic, country, and prog overtones, the band decided to keep the frills outside the music as basic as possible. The album self-titled, no text on the front, and all features artwork that simply palettes up what they had already seen on Waking the Fallen. More powerful imagery is actually the liner notes. Casey Howard's return to the series of black and white drawings that visualize the song's themes, which appears the accompanies Brompton Cocktail being especially gorgeous. In a just world, it would have been the cover.
Hey, we talked about that this episode that we're literally releasing tonight.
Yeah. Or was that episode 2? I forget.
I believe it was the 3rd episode.
Okay.
It was one of the episodes.
No, I think it definitely was 2, because that's also one of the episode when we were talking about like AI stuff and how we view different instruments or different music types.
That is true. It was in the 2nd episode near the end.
Okay.
Live
at the live in the LBC and Diamonds in the Rough.
This looks like a the best way to describe this is it looks like they used AI to like generate just a bunch of skeletons that look like they're like in a rock band.
Yeah, I mean it's it's skeletons based off of the band members, and the burning city in the background is supposed to be like, I think, somewhere in California. Which, California on fire won't be the first time.
Yeah, but basically it's like there's one skeleton, he's in the front, and he's like screaming in the microphone.
Yeah, that's the lead singer.
Then there's one in the back playing on the drums, and there's one with the guitar.
That was the Rev. Then there's Zach, Vengeance, Johnny.
Is that the Titanic?
I don't know. Johnny Christ and Sinister Gates. No one
There's
had
something on it. What does that say? First live A7X concert film, no overdubs, shot in HD plus 1.5 audio.
Yeah, well, HD for the time, which is like 2008. So
high quality. City of unreleased songs, some original Avenged Sevenfold recording sessions, covers, and more.
So
it's like a bonus tracks episode, like not episode, like album.
Yeah. So that's where probably most of the Diamonds in the Rough songs came from, just unreleased. Okay, let's scroll down.
What album is this? Is this the 6th one?
Let's see. I think technically this would be like the 5th one, because there's Sounding the 7th. Then it's after. Yeah, it's the 5th.
Okay, so let's see what this one's about.
As of this article's publication, this double disc of live songs and B-side marked the final time Avenged Sevenfold collaborated with Casey Howard. However, the cover of Live in the LBC retains the artist's balance of anarchy and grandeur. It features skeletal caricatures of the band's 5 members performing in the foreground. Behind them is a drawing of Long Beach, California, where they headlined the Rockstar State of Chaos tour on April 10th, 2008. That's awesome. The LBC is still more famous for being where Iron Maiden recorded Live After Death in 1985, though. Interesting.
Oh. So they said that this is, the background is from California.
Like I said,
Long Beach.
It won't be the first time that California was on fire.
Yeah. They predicted it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this cover before, too.
Nightmare. I think the Nightmare album is by far one of the most iconic album covers, like maybe even in metal history or rock history, whatever.
Okay, how do you describe this?
Okay.
Actually, I know how to perfectly describe it.
Here, you've been describing him quite a lot, or I've been describing him quite a lot. You're like, let's have you describe it.
Okay. It takes a second. If you were to look up this album, the Avenged Sevenfold Nightmare album, first when you look at it, you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? But then the more you realize it, the more you see it. So, in the top, like near the top of it, there's like a skeleton, like the iconic skeleton with the wings, but instead of the wings coming out of this like skull's head, it's coming out at like his back, and it looks like it's like a Grim Reaper like esque figure, and it's standing over a grave that says forever. Yeah. And then under that grave is like a girl sleeping in her bed, and like she looks frightened, like she looks awake. And then she's holding a teddy bear, so it looks like, from the way it looks, it looks like he's looming over the girl in the grave, and it's supposed to symbolize like maybe nightmares of death, because the album's called Nightmare. Yeah. Or like she's having a nightmare of the tombstone and the Grim Reaper-esque looking figure.
And I guess as a bit of extra, there's also what looks like to be some decaying, well, maybe not decaying, but definitely dead foliage in the more foreground. Yeah. And there's actually, if you look at the tombstone, you see that the Rev part in Forever is in larger font. And that's because the Rev was their old drummer. He died before this album fully came out.
So he was in it, but...
Yeah.
That's nice.
And in fact, there's a tribute song on there called "So Far Away," and the music video shows like just different moments from their band, like that like they haven't been on like backstage stuff, just stuff that they were doing like when they're not recording, and it's a very bittersweet album because it's really good.
It's good, but also has like sad undertones.
And something pretty crazy is that the Rev basically made one of the songs. It's called Fiction, and like he originally wanted to call it Death, but the eerie thing is, once they were fully done with it, the Rev died 3 days later.
What did he die of?
Basically complications, because he was born with an oversized heart. But the problem was he often took alcohol with his medication.
That's a no.
Yeah, so that's probably also didn't really do him any favors.
Yeah.
But he was like an amazing drummer.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about him before.
Like,
you said like maybe arguably like top 5, would you say?
Yeah, top 5 like in all of like rock and roll / metal history.
Yeah. Because
like listen to like the drum tracks on like City of Evil, or like maybe like some of the Nightmare stuff, and like basically everything before Hail to the King, like you will be absolutely blown away by how like outstanding and complex those drums are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's scroll down.
Let's see what the meaning of this is.
Okay, Nightmare has been infinitely haunted by the death of the Rev, who passed away just 1 month into recording in December 2009. Despite much of the music being written before he died, the lion's share of the lyrics reference and pay tribute to the fallen drummer. The album art follows suit, with its center clearly showing a grave has words "Forever" carved into it. One of the most in-demand artists in heavy metal, Travis Smith, painted the piece, somehow finding the space amid the schedule that include Opeth, Death, uh, Devin Townsend, and Overkill, other bands.
That is, like, this is a really cool album cover.
Mm-hmm.
The more you look at it, the more, like, you notice things about it.
I really like the colors. Like, there's a lot of blues, like a little bit of like green. Like, it's like mostly cold colors. Like, I guess if you're an art student, then you know. Oh,
Yeah.
And I just realized the backboard on the bed is made of bones.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty interesting.
It's just a cool looking cover. The more I look at it, the more, like, originally it looked like it was, like, possibly, like, at a quick glance, it looked like it was possibly like a Photoshop, but then the more you look at it, you realize it's, like, painted.
Mm-hmm.
There's stars in the sky in the background.
Mm-hmm. The moon through a window.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go on to this one.
Okay, Hail to the King. And this one's like, it kind of goes back to like Waking the Fallen, where it has that color scheme, but it's only half the bat skull, and it just has Hail to the King near the bottom right hand corner.
So is this, like, when would you say was their highest pop-off of popularity?
I mean, right now their most popular song is Hail to the King from, the Hail to the King album. But I'd say what a lot of people consider their peak would be their self-titled.
So which album would that be?
The White Album.
So maybe, like,
So 2007, that's when that came out.
maybe the meaning behind this album, Hail to the King, is like they're getting up there in the ranks and now they're like starting to. I don't know.
I mean, the album itself is a kind of supposed to be like a tribute to like all their inspirations. Like there's Metallica, like Guns N' Roses, some AC/DC, like AC/DC inspired stuff, and my favorite song on their Coming Home is supposed to be inspired by Iron Maiden. Yeah. Okay. Let's scroll down. Okay. Hail to the King was what happened when Avenged Sevenfold tried to create a big yet bare bones heavy metal album. The fan response to such move was a fiercely polarized, but the band reached the top of the US and UK album charts in 2013, so it paid dividends. The artwork complemented the album's musical shifts, simply filling up both front and back cover with death bat against a black background. Tragically, that marked the last time the logo's organizer, Mika Montague, would see his design on the album cover as he died in 2016. Aw, that's unfortunate.
Huh.
Yeah, well, I guess there you have it.
You want to know something kind of crazy?
What?
This came out 10 years ago.
Yep, 10 years ago.
2013.
The same year that Black Ops 2 was released, and Shepherd of Fire was the Origins intro for.
Was that in this album?
Yeah, this is the first song on the album, Shepherd of Fire.
I don't really listen to rock that much or Avenged Sevenfold, but it's always nice to hear their songs in like games.
Yeah.
Games meaning mostly Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
This is our 7th?
Yes.
This is their most recent album?
Technically, yeah.
I see a little Easter egg in it already.
What? You see the skull?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's alright. So it's
Let's first just go with the album name.
yeah. It's The Stage, released in 2016. I guess if we're gonna kind of backtrack a little, Sounding the Seventh was 2001, and Waking the Fawn was 2003. Just so I guess the timeline fully matches up. Here, let's have you describe this once again.
This one's a space shot. So like the background is entirely space. Like in the middle of the cover, you can see. I'm pretty sure that's the Earth.
Yeah, definitely.
You can see the Earth, and then you can see the moon, and then there's just a bunch of stars, like a galaxy. And then along the way, like around the Earth and everything, you see like a nebula, like what you call it, like space dust.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Sounds like drugs when you describe it that way or whatever, but like, yeah, different like space
Just
things.
like different like colored things in space.
Yeah, space anomalies.
I see a couple flaws.
What?
I don't think lightning can be in space, Kevin.
Who cares?
But it's basically so it forms so inside one of the eyes of the skeleton that's made out of the space dust. This sounds really weird to explain. Okay, so for more explanations, if you guys want to, look up Avenged Sevenfold the stage.
Mm-hmm.
You should get a cover for it.
Yeah. There's also a deluxe edition where the
skeleton is dabbing.
No, dabbing didn't become a thing till 2017. I think.
Darn, we're 1 year late.
Yeah, for better or for worse. Definitely for the better though. Yeah. In the deluxe edition, the background is white instead of like more space.
Okay, let me quickly finish explaining this.
Okay.
So it's like a skeleton skull, fitting the theme with all of their other albums. So skeleton skull in the middle of one of the eyes, there's the earth and the moon, and then there's lightning coming out of both sides of the skull, which could also simulate or like represent the wings.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, interestingly enough, like I don't know if you caught this or not, that the skull isn't actually facing directly towards
It's looking sideways.
Yeah, it's slightly tilted to the, I'd say, well, looking at it to the left. Okay, let's go see what the says about the stage.
What this is about.
Okay, and the stage's lyrics are a scientific analysis of the present and the future of Earth, exploring everything from AI to religion. As a result, the artwork is cosmic peace with our blue dot at its center, surrounded by lightning and green fog. However, it's also subtly referencing the death bat. Looking closely, in the fog forms the shape of a skull with the force of lightning on either side representing the wings. It's cool nod from mysterious design studio Butcher and Baker Workshop, which we're assuming is at least half composed of Zachary Vengeance. Real name is Zachary Baker. That's cool. Okay, and now for the last one, Life is But a Dream.
Huh. So this is 2023. Is this out yet?
No, it's gonna be coming out later this year.
Huh. So they have the album. This is what it's gonna be for sure.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna look like.
This one's... Huh. So, from what I'm seeing from it, it's like a skeleton. So there's like a bunch of scribbles below him, which might have a word in it, or like there's something under the scribbles. But there's like a skeleton with like a cloak on, and he's like holding a scythe. And that's really the most like distinctable thing.
Yeah. I see a few things, like he's walking on on like a platform-like thing with skulls beneath it.
It looks like he's stepping off the platform, though.
Yeah, it actually does. And interestingly enough, I don't think the death bat makes an appearance in this one, or at least none that we can see.
What made them like switch covers? So like this is a lot more distinct from all the other ones.
Maybe it's probably just the theming. I mean, they've only actually released one song from the album, Nobody, and that was...
Is that a banger?
Yeah, it's a really good song, really good.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's interesting enough. That was a song that Google contacted them about wanting to make with AI. So yeah, so
well,
they
that literally might explain the cover of this.
Yeah,
it could be AI.
Could be AI generated. Well, I think they only talked about... Well, they might have used AI for this one, just maybe to try it out. Anyway, yeah, the song was AI generated, just like the lyrics, though. So they were to put in everything else and like kind of like sing the lyrics as wanted to. That's also why it is explained of why the lyrics might be a little odd.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down.
So last thing for this topic.
Yeah. Avenged went all in with minimalist artist Wes Lang for Life is But a Dream. Not only did he paint the album cover, but also was in charge of masterminding an all-new death bat. According to the band, the resulting work, which entirely consists of black paint and beige background, It encapsulates our album's theme of existentialism through visual art. That sounds interesting.
Huh.
Lyrics were inspired by philosophy of Albert Camus, who was anti-Christian, believed life to be devoid of meaning, and West's bleak style should prove the perfect imagery. That's interesting.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, like,
so what, they're just like, it's based off of like a life is meaningless cover, I guess is what that's trying
makes
to
sense.
say.
Like, it shows the Reaper and just
Life is but a dream.
Yeah, life.
Wait, are the dots part of it?
Like, no, it's like, if it could be, might be.
Wow.
Life is a Dream will be out on June 2nd. Nice.
That's about the end of school-ish.
Yeah, sounds about right. Can't wait to start streaming that album and pick out those songs I like a lot and just listen to them nonstop for like however long until I find some other songs that pique my fancy.
I do that with albums so much.
Yeah.
I'll listen to one part of an album so much, and then I'll get bored of it. I'll get rid of like the songs I liked, and then I'll like the other ones and listen to those.
Like, for example, I've been going through like Avenged Sevenfold's older albums to see if there's any other songs I like in preparation for their new album.
See if you missed any.
Yeah, to see if I missed any absolute bangers. And lo and behold, I have. Like, so far, I've only listened to 2 songs, which I've been absolutely stuck on, which are Trashed and Scattered and Blinded in Chains. Those songs are amazing.
Which albums did they come off of?
City of Evil. Like, I'm not touching anything before City of Evil. I just don't like screamo whatsoever. It's just not my style.
Yeah.
And like Blinded in Chains, it just has such a banger like lyrics set like towards the end of the song, it's one of them says, I see you living for tomorrow, but your decisions you make will leave you empty. That's like such a powerful like set of lyrics, in my opinion.
Yeah. They are known for having like really meaningful songs, like that one that you were talking about.
Brompton Cocktail. Off of their self-named, and A Little Piece of Heaven, which is a very goofy song where it's about, to keep a long story short, a guy who kills his girlfriend because she won't marry him. So, and she comes from the dead, kills him. They get married in death.
Message for that one: kill your. Wait, never mind. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
We do not condone what you do to your spouse.
Yeah, unless it's good.
No, give her flowers. We do condone that.
Make them feel wanted.
So, we on our final topic now?
Sure. I mean, I guess like the one last thing about Avenged Sevenfold I can say is that I don't necessarily agree with everything that the band might be doing. Like, they kind of jumped onto the NFT train in like the crypto space, like, and like I think I kind of understand why they did. Like, maybe they thought it would be a cool new thing for different opportunities. Meanwhile, everyone else thought it was junk, yours truly included. But I don't think they're doing it in any ill will. Like, they just want to try something new. At the end of the day,
they're just a bunch of older people thinking that they only believed in all the truths of the NFTs, but not any of the deceptions in the NFTs.
Yeah. And like I said, they maybe just want to try something new. And also, I saw an article about their lead singer M Shadows talking about like that humans might have to really start stepping up, like in terms of like musical, like what's the word?
Prowess?
Not prowess, but
skill.
Progression. What's the word again?
Advancement.
Yeah, advancements or. Shoot, I'm forgetting the word.
Be more unique, more different.
Yeah. I kind of want to look it up, but
it's gonna take too long to search.
Yeah, like just to advancements in general, because he thinks that like AI could, in theory, soon start emulating
could and is.
Yeah, could start emulating like human thought and emotion. Like, and we were talking about this 2 episodes ago about how dangerous AI could be. Like, if it were to get to a certain point, or how far it can evolve that it could start emulating humans. And I actually kind of agree with that. Like, maybe, like, he did say that it could emulate the soul too, which maybe not, but
Far of a stretch.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a stretch, but like everything else, they will have to innovate. That's the word I was looking for. They will have to innovate more to kind of keep ahead of the curve, which, we already see like record labels making AI like rappers and whatnot.
Well, those aren't those aren't even record labels that are doing it. Those are just people like on the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
Like bringing back like the president AI speeches.
Yeah.
Or like the president's playing Minecraft and each one of them has like their own personality. Like
Yeah,
Trump is always the one that gets in arguments, and like
Obama's just like kind of the guy who wants to keep
agreeing
peace
with everyone.
Yeah, he wants to try to keep the peace. But Sleepy Joe.
He's kind of confused about things sometimes.
Yeah, and he says some very questionable things. I guess one last quick fact. Apparently, M. Shadows and I think Zaki Vengeance or Sinister both did DMT while making this album, or at least during the process.
That may explain his existentialism through visual art.
I mean, I think that was supposed to be more towards like making songs. Like maybe they made a song based off like literally like their experience on DMT, which I think could be pretty cool.
That's gonna sound weird.
Yeah, I mean, that might just be like this album. Like it's gonna be odd, like just for the sake of being odd.
Each new song, we took a different new drug.
No, like it said that they only did DMT, which, and I think they like only even said that they only did it once, and that was it.
Yeah, okay,
just
buddy.
Just to experience it. I mean, they're rock stars. Like
rock stars be doing rock star things.
Yeah, but I think like they're more tame in terms of like substance abuse.
Yeah, they aren't biting bat heads off in the middle of concerts.
Yeah, cough cough. Ozzy Osbourne, cough cough.
Oh my God, Dick! Ozzy Osbourne killed Kenny.
That bastard. Yeah. Like I guess like even despite I don't really agree with their like interest in NFTs. They seem like cool guys, like just all around.
Yeah.
We also did, like literally 2 episodes ago too, say it's important to be around people, or just like kind of be inspired by people that don't necessarily have the same outlooks in life than you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably head into our final topic.
Make this one a quick one.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll into our next topic.
Let's go.
I'm gonna do this every single topic, so
try to find a fitting crossword or bridge word or whatever.
Reference to the last topic.
Yeah. Okay.
Lore behind where Gavin and I found this topic. We were getting the episode ready to record, and we just happened to just see this one pop up.
Yeah. Ashton had another topic set up, and he decided he didn't really like that one that much, so he quickly found it in this one.
The power of finding topics easy on the internet nowadays.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna start this one, and it is called South Park involved in a mega $1 million lawsuit that could affect the show's future. So they're finally silencing South Park.
Nah. Listen, there's a lot of things that happen to South Park. They've been trying to get canceled by like every community under the sun. They've been sent death threats from the Islamic community because they made fun of Prophet Muhammad. There's really an episode where I forget, don't really remember who. I don't really watch the show this much. He's like the big like buff coach guy, or like the who identified as a woman and dominated the women's Olympics.
Yeah, they go from they attack everyone.
Yeah, and that's why you can't cancel them, because they attack everyone equally.
But you can sure as hell sue them, according to this article.
Also, a funny thing is that they made an episode where Saddam Hussein was Satan's boyfriend. And a funnier thing is that the Marines that were like watching him when he was in United States custody forced him to watch it 24/7.
I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, and even funnier still, the creators of South Park got a signed picture of Saddam Hussein with from the Marines, and that's when they told him about it, about what they were forcing Saddam to endure, quote unquote.
Okay, let's quickly read this article.
Mm-hmm.
The battle for South Park streaming rights is raging as Paramount Global has more than stepped on the plate to puff their feathers at David Zaslav's Warner Bros. Discovery. A very sought-after piece of property, the long-running adult cartoon is now involved in a $1 million lawsuit with two companies lawyering up to duke it out, with the HBO-owning company not willing to ante-up and pay Paramount Global the money they owe, in fact suing Paramount for $200 million. The latter has struck back in a counterclaim of their own, alleging that Warner Media hasn't made good on their licensing fees and have breached their terms. Wait, so they're fighting over the rights of South Park?
Sounds like it, or just the rights to stream it on whatever streaming platform.
Okay, so maybe it isn't getting canceled. They're just fighting over who gets to hold the power
Yeah.
of the holy South Park.
I mean, just go to Comedy Central. You can find,
Southpark.com.
Yeah, southpark.com, and you can just find all the episodes there for free.
I think that's the article.
Uh-huh.
Just look up South Park episodes, and there's a website by Comedy Central that has a lot of their episodes for free.
Absolutely free.
We're going back to the article. According to Deadline, the lofty 59-page filing of South Park Studios claims that the unpaid fees soar well over $52 million to date, with the numbers going up by the day. To make matters worse, Paramount Global says they haven't yet agreed to give Warner Media future rights to South Park streaming, as the company, according to Paramount Global, hasn't made any moves to pay the money that they owe. With HBO Max's shift to Max next month, what is that? Just like they're changing the name from HBO Max to Max?
I guess.
Shift to Max next month, and their hemorrhaging of money following the Warner Bros. Discovery merger. This lawsuit certainly doesn't bode well with the company's future. For being a belly-busting satirical comedy series, and the showdown that South Park is currently finding itself in is anything but the streaming rights. Long been a point of content. God, these people need to stop using big adult words. This is hard to read.
Contention.
That word. Now Gavin, you just made me sound stupid.
Listen, I just have a pretty good vocabulary, but I have the tendency to slur and mumble my words sometimes.
We all do. Like me in the first episode.
Yeah, and me also in the first episode. Probably like the first few, including this one. Voice crack.
Where were we? Dang it. Oh, it all started back in 2019 when Warner Media signed on for a $500 million deal, which allowed them the rights for the first 23 seasons of the Trey Parker and Matt Stone created series. The agreement also gave them rights to reveal several upcoming seasons, with the company agreeing to pay to the tune of $25 million a quarter.
So once every 4 months.
Oh. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. So, I guess what
South Park, not South Park is being sued. The people around South Park are fighting for South Park.
Yep, I mean, South Park is a big old cash cow. No.
Yeah, and funny enough, I don't think it's actually. Most people say that, like, old media like The Simpsons and Family Guy. Does Family Guy still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
People say that those have, like, started to fall off in quality. Like, they were better only, like. People say, like, seasons 1 to 10, or seasons 4 to 10 of The Simpsons are good. But funny enough, I think South Park is basically held through most of their like seasons.
I mean, here's the thing with like all like the LGBTQ community and like all the other stuff happening in the world with like celebrities and like other people from other countries or whatever.
They basically have infinite drama and content.
And infinite people to make fun of.
You don't see Bart like using ChatGPT, I don't think, in any of his recent seasons.
And like to make like I don't know, terroristic like threat messages or whatever to Skinner.
Yeah. There's like the ChatGPT thing. There was an episode of South Park recently. I think it actually blew up because it was so like satirical and funny. One of the characters is using an AI chatbot to message their girlfriend, and like one of the other characters tries to get back with that girl, and they're like, "Oh, I just like the way that they talk to me more," and it's like. You can't beat AI like responding back to like a girl.
I mean, and literally in the like there's an episode called like the pandemic special. There's literally a joke about it where Donald Trump was still the president there, and he said that he wouldn't do anything about the pandemic because it's killing Mexicans, because he promised to lower the amount of Mexicans in the country.
Yeah, they just make fun of everybody. South Park is a good show.
Yeah, I might want to watch a lot of it. Like, I remember watching an episode where they made fun of people that grind World of Warcraft, and with the legendary Sword of 1,000 Truths.
Yeah. That was in one of the first seasons. Not first seasons, like early seasons, I think.
Yeah, definitely earlier.
Well.
Yeah.
Do you think that's it?
Yep, I'd say so. One outro? I mean, I guess I introed, so...
Yeah, I guess I got an outro that. This is our 4th episode, and I think this one was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We didn't mention at the start, but actually Gavin and I are trying to record together this episode.
I kind of forgot that part, sorry.
What do you mean? You're right in front of me.
Listen, I just forgot to bring it up.
Oh, I thought you forgot that we were right next to each other.
How could I forget that I'm not in my room?
Oh, I'm not in this room. He jumps out the window.
Well, he just left. Okay, anyway, continue.
No, I'm out now.
Aw.
Okay, so this is our 4th episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what we're going to call this one yet.
Yeah.
I guess I got to think of it as I'm editing it.
Actually, I think I have a good one already.
What is it?
Symbolism in metal.
That's pretty good. We might use that. I guess you'll find out once it comes out.
Yeah.
Thank you to our listeners that we have so far, and hopefully it continues to grow.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 4th episode. I think I said that the 3rd time. This is Ashton and
Gavin.
Signing off. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.